Hello and welcome to Pandora FMS. In today's video, we will show you how the automatic agent deployment tool works. This tool belongs to the Discovery section and it is exclusive to the Enterprise version. It is an easy method to deploy agents on multiple computers at the same time, without having to download the package and install it on each of them, which can be quite a bother. Before we begin, take into account a couple of things. You will need to have your server updated to the CentOS or Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 versions or higher for this tool to work correctly. You will also need to have a series of dependencies installed, such as the curl command on the target machine or machines on which you're going to install agents automatically. We'll leave you a link in the description below with all the information about the dependencies you need to use this tool. We will find this tool in the Discovery Host on Devices Agent Deployment section. The first time you enter, you will see 3 blue information boxes, which will ask you to add targets on which to perform the deployment, configure the public URL of your Pandora FMS, and add the files of the agents that you want to deploy. Save the targets for last, and the first thing we will do is configure the public URL. To that end, go to Setup, Setup Again, and General Settings. Look for the section of the public URL where you copy and paste the URL of your console from the IP to the last Pandora_console bar. Click Update and you will be done here. The next step will be adding the agent files that you want to install. To that end, go to Configure Software Agent Repository and click Add Software. In this video, we're going to add a Linux software agent from version 7.56. It is important to know that for Linux agents, only the package compressed in tar.gz works. If you try to add an RPM file, for example, it will return an error. Next, configure the credentials with which you're going to access your computers for agent deployment. This section is found in Configuration Credential Store. Click Add and a small box will appear, where you will have to enter a name to identify it, the group it will belong to, the type of product, in this case custom, and the SSH username and password of the target computer. Once this is done, go back to the agent deployment tool and you only have to configure the targets. You have 3 ways to analyze this configuration: scanning the entire network, adding the targets by hand if you know their IP, or using a CSV file. If you select a network scan, a new box will appear where you will have to choose the network to scan, the server that will perform the scan, the credentials that Pandora FMS will test on the computers found, the version of the agent you want to install, and the IP of Pandora FMS server to which the agents are going to report. The option to add targets by hand, on the other hand, will ask you for the IP of the remote computer, its operating system, type of architecture, whether 32 or 64-bit, credentials, the version of the agent that you want to install, and the IP of Pandora FMS that the agent must send their data to. Finally, if you choose to import targets through a CSV file, you will simply have to choose the separator and look for the file on your computer. This file must be filled out and formatted correctly with the format indicated in this same window. Now that you have the targets on which you're going to deploy your software, you will have to configure its deployment. To do it, click on the eye icon, which will open a new window with the current device IP, the operating system, the type of architecture, the computer access credentials, the agent version that we're going to deploy in the device, and the IP of the server this agent is going to report to. Once you have correctly configured all the elements, click Update and proceed to deploy the agents. To do this, just click Deploy Agents to Destinations. Select the targets and click Deploy. Now just wait for the process to finish. Once finished, the installation date field will show the information from when the agent was installed. If you go to the Agents tab, you may see that indeed the agents are already reporting and configured with remote configuration enabled. If there was a problem during the deployment, the column last error would show information about that problem. And that was it for today's video. Don't forget it, if you liked the video, smile, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. Any suggestions, questions, or ideas, please leave them in the comments below. Remember that if you're interested in trying Pandora FMS Enterprise, you may contact us to get a free 30-day trial. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you on social media and in future learning videos.